Before they had kings, the people of ancient Israel lived in a state of constant instability. The ancient records describe this as an era where everyone simply did what was right in their own eyes. When a society feels that kind of chaos, we tend to look for a quick fix. We want someone tall, strong, and confident, someone who physically looks the part of a leader to step in and save the day. That exact scenario plays out in the biblical book of 1 Samuel. It records the precise historical moment when Israel transitions from a fragile network of tribes ruled by local judges into a single, unified nation under a centralized monarchy. We can read this text as an incredibly sharp psychological case study. By tracking 3 specific men, Samuel, Saul, and David, we can observe what makes a leader endure and what causes one to inevitably collapse. The story opens in the Judean hills with a woman named Hannah. She is barren, desperate, and pours her heart into a faithful prayer for a child. Her son, Samuel, grows up to become Israel's final judge. He serves as a prophet, a messenger who speaks on behalf of God, during a time when divine direction was incredibly rare. At the same time, the Israelites are facing a massive external threat. These carved figures represent the Philistines. They were a coastal group of sea peoples equipped with advanced weapons, and their constant raids are causing widespread panic among the Israelites. Terrified by this threat, the people approach Samuel with a demand. They want a human king so they can be exactly like the surrounding empires. They want a physical monarch to march out and fight their battles for them. Samuel warns them exactly what this system will cost. He explains that a centralized king will draft their children into the army, seize their best land, and tax their produce to feed his royal court. By demanding a king out of fear, the nation was effectively rejecting God as their leader. They traded a covenant for a crown, setting up a system of government built on very flawed human shoulders. God grants their request by selecting a man named Saul. Saul is tall, handsome, and physically fits the exact stereotype of a strong warrior king. Early in his reign, Saul secures several military victories against rival groups. For a brief moment, the people feel completely validated in their superficial choice. But Saul has a fatal flaw. He is driven by deep insecurity. When the pressure mounts, he fears the shifting crowd more than the commands of God. That insecurity breaks him before a major battle against the Philistines. Samuel explicitly tells Saul to wait 7 days for him to arrive and offer the proper sacrifices. But as the clock ticks down and Saul's troops begin to panic and scatter in the face of the enemy, Saul takes matters into his own hands and performs the ritual himself. He compromised his obedience to appease his own troops. By prioritizing popular support over direct instructions, he proved he could not be trusted with power.
Because of this failure, his family loses the right to an enduring dynasty. Saul leaves us with a difficult truth. Looking the part of a leader means absolutely nothing if you lack the integrity to follow instructions when the crowd turns anxious. God sends Samuel to quietly anoint Saul's replacement. Samuel visits the house of a man named Jesse and reviews his oldest, strongest sons. By conventional metrics, they all look exactly like kings. Yet God bypasses every single one of them for the youngest brother, David. He is completely overlooked by his own family, working out in the fields as a shepherd. The text states plainly that humans judge by outward appearance, but God looks at the heart. David demonstrates that heart almost immediately. When the Israelite army cowers before a massive Philistine champion, David steps onto the battlefield. Armed with a simple leather sling and absolute trust in God, he drops the massive giant to the ground. David quickly rises through the military ranks, winning battles and gaining the love of the people. But as David succeeds, King Saul descends into violent paranoia, actively hunting David across the desert to eliminate him. This chase becomes David's ultimate test of character. He actually gets multiple opportunities to assassinate Saul and claim the throne he was promised. Instead, he refuses to kill the corrupt king, choosing to honor God's timing over his own ambition. That level of restraint proves David is ready to lead.
True authority does not need to be seized by force or secured through revenge. It is entrusted to those who have the character to handle it. Saul's reign eventually collapses completely. He dies a tragic, grisly death alongside his sons in a disastrous battle against the Philistines, leaving the nation entirely vulnerable. Following that collapse, David steps in to unify the tribes and establish a lasting dynasty. This artifact is the Tel Dan Stele, an ancient stone monument that provides physical, archaeological proof for the historical existence of the House of David. The book of 1 Samuel serves as the critical bridge in biblical history. It carries a fractured nation out of the chaotic era of the Judges and delivers them into the permanent structure of the Davidic monarchy. This visual matrix compares the three men. Samuel guided the people through a faithful divine calling. Saul commanded them through outward physical strength, but crumbled under pressure. David succeeded through obedience and the steady condition of his heart. Because of his reliance on God, David's kingship becomes the gold standard for Israel. It establishes the exact blueprint for all of their future expectations for a perfectly just, promised king. 1 Samuel proves that the most enduring leadership is never found in outward bravado. It is built entirely on humility, obedience, and inner character.